on where he rejected the second nominee and moved on the third committee?
Right. Could happen. Any questions about, yeah?
Is it different between a raise and promote and raise?
Yes. There's a difference.
Promoting the same.
It's the same idea in a sense, but there is you can be the deputy chief of the bank. And one day, the chairman of all the banks of that company calls you in and says, you're the deputy chief, I'm going to promote you to chief of the bank. So from deputy chief, you step up to chief, promoted. Now, normally, when you receive a promotion, you would get a raise. Your salary as deputy chief would be X, and your salary as chief would be X plus 10, let's say, something like that. A raise. You would get a raise. Not every time that you got promoted would you necessarily get a raise. There may be some companies that for whatever reason they don't give a raise, but most do. So you can, and you could also stay as deputy, and after a year the boss would call you in and say, you're doing an excellent job. I'm going to give you a raise. Not a promotion, a raise. So your salary would go from X to X plus 5, except you would still be the deputy chief.
For example, if you work at a big company and you have a vacancy position, the president will promote your position unnecessarily to raise your salary. But if the company has a lot of profit, benefits, we can raise for everyone, salary and raise everyone.
Yeah, well, it depends on the company, of course. But if you were all working for this company, Company A, and Company A sold, instead of 5,000 computers, for some freak reason, they sold 50,000 computers that year, and the president was so excited about it, he couldn't believe that this had actually happened, and he couldn't really even explain it. But he decided to give, because everyone had done such an excellent job, he decided to give everyone in the company a raise of money.
Less money,
Right.
promote position.
Well, not necessarily promote. A raise is one thing. A promotion is something else. You can get a raise as the deputy chief from X number of baht to X plus 5. That's your raise. But you're still the deputy chief. You weren't promoted. To be promoted up another step in the ladder. To get a raise, that's good and that's nice, but you're still the deputy chief. Maybe next year it'll be the chief, I don't know. But right now you're getting a raise, not a promotion.
Sometimes company have a raise for their employee, but unnecessary to promote.
Right, right. I could give, if I was the president of the company, I could give everybody a raise. Okay, everybody gets an extra 1,000 baht a week or something like that. But that doesn't mean everybody's promoted to some other position. No, same job, same everything, except when you pick up your paycheck, there's 1,000 more baht every week.
At the end of the year, the company will give the money to all employees.
Well, a lot of times what they call that would be a bonus.
Not bonus, not bonus. I mean not bonus. This year, your salary is this year 5% increase.
Oh, well, it all depends on the company, what's going on. Maybe every year you get a 5% salary increase. Fine. A lot of times, the company, if they have done very, very well that year, the president will come out and say, we've had an exceptionally profitable year. We've made much more money this year than we've ever made in the past 46 years of the company. Therefore, everyone will get a bonus. An amount. Depends on your position and 10 other things. But everyone will get extra money. A bonus. Not a raise of your salary all the time, but a bonus, a one-time bonus, because we all did so good. But if the company may have a contract or something where you get a raise of 3% every year. Depends on your contract, your agreement, and your company as to what your salary increases, bonuses, raises will be. So you'd have to examine your company to see where and what they do with their employees. A lot of companies are very generous, and others are not so generous. Depends on the company.
And depends on the performance of the employee too.
The what?
Performance. Performance.
Exactly. Performance. In other words, how did you do your job this year? What was the level of your performance? Performance. You may work for a company that would call you in at the end of the year for an evaluation. Evaluation. In other words, are you valuable to this firm or not? In a hard way to look at it, you could be called in and said, "Oh, welcome, sit down. I'm your boss, and I'm reviewing what you've done over the past year. I see you were sick for 6 weeks in January. What was the problem?" "Oh, I had a bad cold. I wasn't able to come." And I understand from your supervisor that on Tuesdays and Fridays of every week you come an hour late. And you say it's because of the buses are not working properly. What's the problem? "Oh, well, I'll try to come on time this coming year. I'm going to start to walk to work. I'm not going to wait an hour for the bus anymore." "Oh, okay. I see where you've increased your sales over the last..." "Oh, yes, sir. I've actually improved my sales, working extra hard to try to make up for the fact that I've been late. I didn't mean to say I was late. I was delayed." different than late. So you're evaluated, and the guy may say, "Well, thank you very much, and we'll let you know what the results of the evaluation are." And you may get, because you were late for 2 months, and you were sick for 6 weeks and everything else, and you had no doctor's note to say why you were sick, they might say, "Well, just leave him alone, no raise, no anything." But on the other hand, if you had done an outstanding job, you might get a raise. Depends on the evaluation and what the company management thinks of your performance. You show up late every day, leave early, might not be a good thing. Could be a problem. Any other questions about the words here? Work. Decline, politely decline,
and
rejected.
It means the same thing.
Same idea, a little more forceful in rejecting. I decline to accept your offer. I reject your offer. Sorry. A little stronger. Just You're right, it's the same idea. I decline the offer. Thank you very much. Politely decline. But I can reject out of, get rid of this. He rejected my novel. I thought he was going to publish it. He threw it back at me. He rejected it instead of politely declined. Any other questions about this? You have to work on the pronunciation and get the idea of raise and rise and things like that. Because if you walk in and said, I need a rise, boss, a rise? What are you talking about? You need a rise. No, you mean you need a raise. Oh, you should have said so, because I gave you a rise. I lifted up your chair. So, that's why pronunciation is key, especially when you're talking about raises. Any other questions? Okay, that'll be it for today. Tomorrow, same time.